What's up, guys? This is Dave with Gen 3D Tech. Today we're going to be checking out the Fantech Agile MP453. Let's check it out. A couple weeks ago, I was on Reddit and I saw that Josh from Fantech had posted a blurb about a new mousepad from Fantech, the Agile MP453 that we got here. And I saw that it was available on Amazon for only $11. So I think it was $12 with free shipping, and I got it the very next day. So thought I'd check it out and see if it was any good. I guess he ended up naming the material that it's made out of. He calls it speed silk, and it's supposedly a new low friction surface. And I did go and feel all my different pads, and this is definitely a slightly different feeling surface than I've felt on any of the other pads. It is kind of a noisy surface, so yeah, it does make a little bit of noise. The mouse itself doesn't make much noise, but your skin does when it glides along the surface. If you're in a game, you're probably not going to notice because you'll be on your headphones or listening to speakers, but if you're using this pad for day-to-day non-gaming work, you might be hearing that sound and maybe annoying to you. So that's definitely not the greatest plus in my book, but for gamers, which is probably targeted to, it's not going to be an issue. As far as the build quality on this mouse pad, it's decent, especially for the money. It has stitch edges and they're not raised up too high, so that part's pretty nice. There is a bit of fraying on my copy. Yeah, so you can see the fraying there, and there's just a little bit of inconsistency on the tightness of the stitching, especially around on the corners. But for $11, I'm not gonna complain too hard. If this was a $60 pad, I'd be pretty upset. But for a budget pad like this, it's definitely passable. I do enjoy the feeling of this pad. It is nice and soft. It's got some give to it. It's a 4mm pad. The bottom is nice and textured rubber, and it doesn't really move. You have to almost lift it up for it to move. So, but when you're gaming, it doesn't move at all. So no complaints about the rubber surface. The thickness definitely feels good on your skin. You're not going to get any kind of like irritation or burns like you would on a Cordura pad. Where this pad does excel is it definitely has very low initial friction. So you can do micro adjustments really well with this pad, which is something that I use in gaming a lot. I don't do a lot of sweeping motions other than when I'm just testing for that. I just do a lot of small motions. Dynamic friction is really buttery smooth on this pad. Glass feet, also very fast on this. It doesn't have the greatest stopping power, but it does have some stopping power. I wouldn't call it a control pad. It's definitely more of a speed pad. It's not the fastest speed pad, but it's fast enough, especially for the micro adjustments. I definitely think that's a great option if you're someone who does that. The size of the pad is 450 by 350, so it's not a very big pad. It's just a little bit bigger than the IKEA pad that I just reviewed, so that may be a big minus to some people. But again, it's only $11, so you're not always going to get a big pad for that price. For me, it's really a non-issue because, again, I don't use big sweeping motions, and my desk is full of stuff, so there's not a huge amount of room. When I have to put a pad that's 500 by 500 or larger, it usually drapes over. But that's also not a bad thing because when it hits the edge of the desk, it actually gives a little bit of cushion on the edges on your arm. So that's actually kind of cool. I've kind of gotten used to having the pad hang over like that. Anyways, in game I performed above average. I'd say it's not the best pad I've performed on, but it's definitely not holding me back for sure. And when you consider the price, it's definitely something you might want to take a look at if you're on a budget. It's definitely not an artisan pad. It's not as good as the Lethal Gaming Gear pads, but it's definitely worth taking a look at. You know, it definitely competes with, say, like the Fanatic Focus 3.0 and a couple other pads in that price range. For sure, this is definitely something to take a look at. Yeah, and if you're just a collector of mouse pads, since it's so inexpensive, it's definitely worth having in your collection at only $11, $12. And being on Amazon, it's very easy to get. And also, with being on Amazon, it's easy to return. So if you end up buying this mouse and disagree with my assessment, you know, it's very easy to return. So, but I think you're going to like this pad. Another great thing about this pad is it does hold up really good under humidity. Now, I don't have a very humid environment right now, and I don't sweat a lot. So I'll just do the water test like I usually do. And you can see the water just beads right off. Yeah, as you can see, the water doesn't really absorb. Now, that is because this is a coated pad, which I forgot to mention. So, will that coating wear out after a while? Yeah, it's possible. I've only had this thing for about 2 weeks, and I've used it pretty regularly, and I haven't noticed any degradation in the coating so far, but I haven't used it long term. But again, like I said, it is only $11, so it's definitely a decent pad that's worth the risk in buying, even with the coating. So yeah, this is definitely a recommended budget pad for me. Anyways, I'll have a link in the description if you're interested in purchasing it. And I guess that's just about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you on the next one. Everyone stay safe and peace out.